What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Critical Overlord here. So we're going to be talking about weapons in this video here again today. I'm going to try to make this as quick as I can because I am actually planning to see this movie again tonight. And if you haven't done so already, please go out and see the movie again. If you're someone who enjoyed it anyway, I recommend seeing it a second time with an even bigger audience because it makes it that much better to hear everyone's reactions. But let's dive into this bombshell announcement or report that came out from The Hollywood Reporter today. And if you haven't seen the film, obviously you probably shouldn't be looking at a video like this, but if you're looking, you probably don't care. But anyway, we got a report from the Hollywood Reporter detailing that there's discussions regarding a potential follow-up to Zach Cregger's Weapons, a prequel that would be centered around Amy Madigan's Aunt Gladys character. So let's go over this report. It says, unless someone else as ghoulish as Aunt Gladys comes along between now and Halloween, get ready for a sea of adults wearing costumes punctuated by bright orange wigs, lips smeared haphazardly with lipstick, and enormous eyeglasses. Aunt Gladys, played by Amy Madigan, is among the many memorable characters in filmmaker Zach Cregger's R-rated Weapons, an original horror film that is taking the multiplex by storm, much as Jordan Peele's Get Out hit did in 2017. And just as Get Out became the rare horror title to land multiple top Oscar noms, so could Weapons, with Madigan looking like a contender. Yet there's another reason to be on the lookout for Aunt Gladys. Multiple sources tell the Hollywood Reporter that Warner Brothers and New Line, home of Weapons, are already talking with Cregger about making a prequel exploring the origin story of the strange aunt who suddenly arrives in town. I want to address something regarding Cregger by the end of all this, but one of Weapons' conceits is its chapter structure centering on particular characters, and sources say that Cregger actually had a chapter focused on Glattis and some of her backstory. He ultimately pulled that section from the script for length purposes. Now, with the movie's wild success, that lost chapter would be expanded into a full-length story. Sources say no deals have been made, nor is there any timeline. I have a love-hate relationship with this report. Amy Madigan did such a wonderful job as the mysterious, creepy, but surprisingly funny Aunt Gladys, who gave us a lot of memorable moments. The one that just constantly pops in my mind is when the detectives are coming to the house. They come inside. They pan up to Alex, who's looking from above, upstairs. And Gladys acknowledges how quiet he's being and then gives him that sharp glare. It goes from that sweet act she's putting on for the detectives and then glares evilly at Alex. Just love that little moment. Just the mannerisms, her line delivery, so iconic. I said in my review that Cregger keeping us in the dark about her is what made the character better. But if I'm being honest, us loving Gladys probably was the wrong message to send to Hollywood, in this case Warner Brothers, because now they want to potentially ruin a good thing. I'm not going to say that having more Gladys will ultimately be bad, because I think that Madigan's portrayal of the character will ultimately just save anything that we get. We'll at least have some more memorable moments of her as that character. I do ask myself, how did Gladys get sick? How old is Gladys? Is Gladys even her real name? Is she really related to that family, or did she weasel her way into the family through magic? A lot of questions, but I don't need to have all of them answered, or even a single one of them for that matter. And it's better to not answer certain questions to avoid disappointing outcomes and risking chipping away at a character's mystique. We've seen this happen in the past with characters like Michael Myers, just exploring things that don't need to be explored. They're kind of already clear cut, and yet you chose to dive into it too much. You gave us certain things that the context doesn't really vibe all that well with the overall mystique, and now the character isn't as scary as they once were. I really hope Amy Madigan gets some award recognition for what she did in this performance. It was a captivating portrayal. Honestly, it was really captivating. You just knew you were in for a hoot the minute that orange wig appeared outside of Marcus's office. I imagine if a prequel happens, it'll go something like this. Gladys's life pre-illness, a disturbing character study similar to Joker in a way, but it builds to Gladys turning to witchcraft to combat this illness. We won't see a lot of witchcraft at first, so a little bit of a sinner's approach, establishing our characters, the town, wherever she's located, make us invested in Gladys more than we already are, create this hopeless environment around her related to the illness, and then the next hour is when the life force consumption starts. Cregger did admit in a clip recently that was sent to me that Weapons has several plot holes, but I don't know if they are really holes as much as they are unanswered questions that are perfectly fine staying unanswered. This prequel could give clarity on some topics audiences felt needed to be explained aside from what makes Glattis tick. The biggest one this can answer is, was she really related to them? I wouldn't mind the answer being no. Not that Glattis doesn't exist, but this witch could have been impersonating the real Glattis. They just have to be really careful here. You have to be very careful with how you tackle this material if it even comes to fruition. I don't see Zach Cregger being a part of this, because if Warner Brothers is hell-bent on making more Weapons content, I believe they don't need Zach Cregger. Warner Brothers is who owns this property. If something else comes out giving me some more context on the ownership and the rights, then I'll of course probably make another video to address all of that. But as of now, as it often goes, just like how Kevin Williamson doesn't own Scream, Zach Cregger doesn't own Weapons. Zach Cregger has a few projects lined up that he's about to start working on. If they want a Weapons movie out by next year or even 2027 and he's not available, they don't need him. So you have to also wonder about the quality, because they don't need Zach Cregger to do a new Weapons movie, just like how Warner Brothers doesn't necessarily seemingly need Ryan Coogler for another Sinners project. It's their IP. They can run it into the ground if they want to. It probably wasn't the best idea for to give Hollywood the thumbs up that we love Glattis so much, because now, like I stated, they're going to try to milk the cow. They're going to milk Glattis for all she's worth. I'm certain they'll want to make Glattis their own Ma in a way, the way Octavia Spencer, of course, is for Blumhouse. Glattis could end up being Warner Brothers' version of Ma. I just don't want to see too much explored that cheapens the character or portrays them in a way that doesn't, like, it just tampers with their aura. You don't want to see aura messed with. I really don't want to see that. But would you guys be open to a Weapons prequel? Let me know why or why not down in the comment section below. I'm about 50-50. On one end, you get more Glattis content and Amy Madigan just doing more amazing acting as this bizarre, unhinged character. And on the other hand, you're risking ruining that aura. There's a lot of aura to that character. I would rather just be preserved by you leaving it alone. But again, money is going to talk more than anything. Let me know what you guys think about all this down in the comment section below. If you haven't already, of course, make sure you subscribe, turn on post notification, and there's a video in the description. I have links on my social media accounts. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can message me there to let me know if there's any movies, news, or reviews you'd like me to cover in the future. And with all that in mind, guys, I will see you in the next video.